Hello, welcome back to school. Um, I was thinking I had forgot or didn't mention a couple things that are really important in the realm of the pitch aspect of music. One of them are what are termed as key signatures, and the other one is the interval and how those are made. So I'm going to cover those in the next several videos. I'm going to put each item in its own video, if that makes sense. That probably doesn't make sense. But for example, for the key signature, there are several key signatures. So each key is going to have its own video. I'm going to explain a little bit of the theory, how it is that they are read, and I'm also going to be doing playing the various scales, which again is basically just a ladder. It's a string of notes that goes up and down on the keyboard. And so I'm going to explain the theory behind each key and also play the scale so that hopefully you can see how it is that these are starting to piece together. The big takeaway is when you're playing them on the piano, you are going to first start off on all the white keys, and gradually as you work your way through the key signatures and playing the different scales, more black keys are going to be utilized, but they're all going to be, you're not going to change any, you're basically just adding one more black key to the previous scale that you played. So first, let me show you real quick. That's not the book I'm looking for. Here it is. The term major and minor. Let me cover these. These are really, really important. They are both derivative of Latin words. Major means greater, and minor means less. And it's not in the sense of quantity, but it's in the sense of quality, if that makes sense. So the best way of explaining a major and a minor is to talk about things which are called chords, which we have not yet discussed. But just for a quick example, okay, so I'm going to play what is called a C major chord. And I want you to listen to it and see what feelings or what emotions it invokes. Okay? So that's a C major chord. Very standard, nothing real dangerous there. Now that we've heard the C major, I'm going to play a C minor chord and see what emotions or whatever it evokes after hearing it. Here's the C major, and now here is a C minor. So that's just two chords, the major and the minor. Now, the same is true with scales. If I played a C major scale, it would sound like this. If I played a C minor scale, it would sound like this. I'm going to figure out how to finger it. So they do have completely different tonalities, but they're just a little bit the same. So major and minor are just the concept of how the music is it's a combination of the whole and the half steps, or the tones and the semitones. That is basically what major and minor is. And these are best learned obviously through lots of repetition, like just listening to music. You can kind of get a sense of whether or not if something is major or minor. In a lot of classical music, composers will actually indicate this symphony is in the key of C minor. For example, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, that is written in the key of C minor. And if you listen to it, you will tell that there's a quality to the minor that is not displayed in the major. Okay, so that's basically major and minor, just understanding that. Next, talking about the key signatures. These are the various combinations of sharps and flats, or I should say sharps or flats. If I can find the page, I can't find the page. So these are various combinations of sharps or flats in a piece of music. So if you look here, the first one, it says that there's an F sharp, and then this is the flat, that's a B flat. And if you look, the next one here on line 2, it still has the F sharp, but it also adds the C sharp. And then for the flats, it adds an E flat, but it still retains the B flat. So, as mentioned earlier, you're just adding one more flat or sharp to the previous key. And this stuff is basically just memorized. You just memorize it. That's how I did it. And this is what they look like in the bass staff. And so this is something similar to what I had when I was in high school. I just had a chart and I studied it. Another way of laying them out is what's called the circle of fifths. And I can post this up as we're going through these. But basically, here, this is the 12 o'clock point. This is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so on and so forth. And so you just go around. Each of these letters are moving by fifths. C to G is a fifth. G to is a D. D is a fifth. D to A is a fifth. And these are called a fifth is called an interval, and we'll talk about those later. When you look at the flat side of the keys, they move by perfect fourths. So C to F is a fourth, and then F to B flat is a fourth, and it goes on through the circle that way. So this is very common for learning about key signatures and even other elements of music. So that covers the basic theory aspect of things. Now, I think I might do, let me see here. I'm thinking I'm going to do each video. So for the first one, we're going to cover the key of C major. And let me put this up here so that it can be seen. Okay, so the first one, we're going to look at the key of C major. And this is probably the most easiest key to learn. Now, I've got other writing up there that didn't get erased. Sorry. The key of C major, I usually just abbreviate major as MJ. There's no ambiguity about it. The M, sometimes I capitalize it, sometimes I don't. But as long as I see MJ, I know that that is a major key or a scale or whatever. Okay, so the key of C major is very easy. It has no sharps or flats in front of it. So if we drew a C major scale, it would essentially look like this. Oops, I almost skipped sol. I have a C major without a sol. And lastly, your top note up there is do. So to play this, I'm gonna run over to the keyboard and play these notes. And I'm just playing all the white notes on the keyboard. Why do I keep turning this off? Okay, so here's a C major scale. And I can descend, just follow the notes backwards on the chalkboard. So again, we have that whole half, or tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That is the pattern for writing out the scale. So the next, let me see. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I was going to talk about the minor key. Well, I could talk about the minor key. Let's talk about the minor key. No, let's not talk about the minor key. The minor key is just going to be, no, we're not going to talk about the minor key. So the C major key, C major, we're talking C major. The C major has no sharps or flats in front of the clefs. I mean, it could be bass clef, treble clef, any of the alto, soprano, any of the other clefs. But there's no sharps or flats. Now the next key that we're going to talk about is going to be the key of G major. And that one is when we're going to start to add the various accidentals. So we are going to do that. If you want to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget, ring the notification bell for all notifications.